Okay, we are back. Hopefully. Yeah, we are back. Absolutely. Not front. Although, whatever. Uh, there's a case to be made for getting more technologies, but no. These are so far away, and mostly I care for the second generation nanotech. And of course the desalination, let's not forget about that. That we are not going to bother this time. It's really a weird opening strategy for me, but we are not going to do that. Okay, we are going to do everything in our power to get some more water to Northern Africa, Middle East, China and India. Those are the four things that we have to really care about. So this will be 1, 2, 3, 4 turns, while I suppose we'll have to start doing that right away. Yeah. Start getting that up there. Unfortunately, I can't really get the vegetarian revolution as well going. That's really unfortunate, but we do what we can here, I suppose. Getting the desalination program might just be I mean, this takes some turns to energy use per turn. I mean, how do we even tackle this problem? I'd pay double the, maybe even triple the amount of stuff for just one more card here. So how vulnerable are you to storms, floods and coastal things? Troubling sea horizon. We have to have that one going. We can't bleed support like this, I don't feel like. That's also going to be deadly, I feel like. What do I do on this first turn? Decisions. Can the high intensity farming or whatever wait for just a little bit? I think it just might be able to. Although, arg, this also reduces the impact on food supply. How's your biofuel production? I don't know if we can even see that anywhere. Let's see if we can find it. Commerce. Maybe here. Conventional. These say just zeros all around. Okay, that one seems to be too good of a card not to do this turn, but because that desalination program is a long-term project, we have to get that as soon as possible when the seriously bad famine is going to strike. Seriously bad famine. Okay, not now. What do we do here? The organic farming is one thing. The vegetarian revolution. We seem to be having the water infrastructure fortuitously. But we do need the airs. Do we get the high yield crops here instead of the... which way do we go? Or do we get rid of the grow commerce one instead? We may just have to forego the commerce and instead... And... No, it might be because of the high water stress that we have this low of a agricultural thing here. We'll get rid of the grow commerce for a little bit. We have to get the water saving technologies ASAP. Okay, India next. India. What are we going to do with you? Also, this... We really have to tackle the gigantic toxicity problem here as well. But it might not be as urgent as declaring martial law. Let's see here. General strikes. Waiting lists steadily. Wildfire engulfs. This is pretty bad. But so is the famine and the relocation things. Just what do we do here? Water management. That's a must, I feel like. Minus 30% water. This says minus 50% to those sort of things. This is drought defenses as well, so I feel like that might be pretty important to get going right away. As is the famine relief. How about we get something instead of the relocation assistance, maybe? I mean, we are getting the drought and whatever defenses as well. But what do we get instead of that? Do we right away switch to organic farming, maybe? Instead of getting the... Yeah, this is right away, and that would be at a slight delay. We'll try to tackle the water shortage problem ASAP. Now China. China. What are we going to do with you? You already have the high yield crop strains. It lowers the water usage by a little bit. You seem to be having the water thing already maxed out. You don't have the vegetarian revolution going on. We'll get that. And you aren't in that dire of a need to get the desalination thing. You can wait for that just a tiny bit. Can you? We seem to be getting the aerosols anyway. Haha, why? 1, 2, 3, 4. I suppose it is 4 turns, yeah. Okay, so it makes sense, I suppose. It does. It is pretty urgent. Yeah. Wait a minute. Acquire CCS, what are you doing? That's not right. It's. I'm glad I look. I'm glad I looked at that. Some other things that might help, but a little bit, are this protect land, soil, and forests. But it will take a little bit of time to do that, and this subsidize biochar as well. I think this might be while these are active that it gives minus 20% water use. That I think makes the most sense. So you. Maybe the... Although this is minus 20% instead of the minus 10% water use. I suppose that makes sense then. More sense. Yeah. We are already at an 81 money. Why? Why me? We need the money though. We seriously need the money. So let's see, where can we get the money from? Maybe not in Latin America. We'll even get it in Northern America. Russia. Do we dare Tobin tax you? Yeah, maybe. It's for the good of the world. Well, before we Tobin tax every possible place, we'll see about a couple of other things. Latin America and China are the biggest forest cutters. Here we appear to have finished the previous GEO appears to have finished the protect the land, soil, and forests thing. So we don't have to worry about that, but these wildfire defenses, that's something we need to get going right away. And China is already has its hands, I don't even know, full. Middle East is providing security assistance more urgent than getting what exactly? Subsidizing biochar? Maybe. Instead, let's do it like this. Subsidize biochar before we get the high yield crops. I think that makes more sense. Yeah. So, China, the Middle East, those are what we have pretty much tackled already, as you can see. Then it was Southern Africa, right? Then South Asia. These places we have to tackle pretty quickly, it appears. Coal-free industry seems to be one of the first things we probably want to do. As well as declining some power. Seems to be pretty nice as well. So is that what we are going to do? Maybe. Decline coal, maybe? How's the toxicity doing? It's pretty bad here. Yeah, we'll decline coal power. I think that might be the biggest polluter. I'm not sure. I mean, toxicity-wise. South Asia, then. What are we going to do here? You can do the coal-free industry, and then what else? Let's decline. What's your toxicity looking like? 10,000 will decline coal power. We still have some money left. So, what do we do? What do we do? Something which isn't that expensive. I'm also fearing that we'll run into shortages if we decline all sorts of powers. How about getting some kind of a new technology for you? Super tensile materials might be a decent one to get. Tidal power expansion potential, maybe. Even though it is seriously expensive. So I don't really know. Unfortunately, we can't Tobin tax this place. I would really have liked to. Anything else I might want to... I mean, these are nice and all, but... should we instead get... Yeah, we'll try to save on money. Yeah, I suppose that makes more sense. South Asia, then India. That's pretty much handled. Latin America. Yeah, handled, and then Latin America. What can we do here? Tobin tax. Well, we are in a bit of a bind. Let's Tobin tax Latin America as well. We have to start quickly this. What's the toxicity looking like? It's not awful. I think instead of declining coal, we'll decline oil, or just so we have some variety of things we are declining. Variety in things we are declining. What else? I'm not sure. We'll think about this for a little bit more. Northern Africa, that's handled. We even have the one-child policy there, which is my new strategy for Northern Africa. Europe. What can you do that would be beneficial for us? I mean, I suppose you could decline a gas power. You have pretty much all the technologies, so there's that as well. Russia. Northern America and Oceania and Japan. It's only Japan where we haven't... don't really have a... Let's see, look at the toxicity. We'll decline oil power, even though... Yeah, well, I want to have some variety. I don't know if that's what we want to... If it's any wise. I don't know how... What it's going to do for us, really. But we are going to do that anyway. You seem to be having the cars, electric cars already. So instead, I think we'll go for the industrial carbon regulations. There's also the... I suppose we'll Tobin tax Russia, yeah. We need to get those technologies, I feel like. So Latin America was one we wanted to tackle pretty quickly here. Well, already if I get the 2 agents here, I'm going to, be getting everything we can. Although, is that... I'm going to get one technology, at least. And where else? Europe, Russia, maybe? Maybe in Russia? Quantum computing, it's decent enough, I suppose. It's GDP plus 14 point whatever. Do we get this in Russia? It's 2%. Well, GDP is 3%. How about this is 10% here? Oceania 1%, Japan 3%. If anything, we would want it more like in Latin America. Let's get quantum computing as well, yeah. That seems like a decent thing to do in Latin America. Look at this. Global coal production peaks, yeah. Some good news. Gas production peaks. Impact death toll 142 million. Forced migration 24 million. Let's look at these things. We have India and Southern Africa as the main things we have to worry about. This seems like a pretty decent place to make a cut, yeah. So, bye.